either at the station or in court. Secondly, some of the huntsmen are not locals from that area. They are strangers. So we have had a challenge where the livestock is stolen. It is suspected that the herds people colluded with the thieves, but nobody knows properly the identity of this person who was employed. They had not deposited any IDs, and so when they escape with the animals and the thieves, and everybody gets lost. So the fact that the herds people successful investigations and prosecution. Thirdly, is that most cases are not reported, which creates a gap for the criminals to get away and conceal evidence and disappear with the animals. And fourthly, that measures have we taken, Honorable Chair and members. We have asked all the National Government Administration officers, GAO, included to the end, so that it becomes a deterrent. So those are some of the things we are doing: sensitization through public barazas and area. And I think the last few weeks, I think there has been some improvement. Perhaps the Senator could shed more light on that. But the reports we get is that we haven't had cases. We are also surveilling. We are exercising surveillance on key livestock markets in that area, because we are also asking ourselves where these livestock go, and therefore we have put scouts and surveillance teams in a number of markets. I can mention Mashuru, Sultan Hamud, Emali, Bisil, and Shompole markets, because we assume that perhaps the livestock will be destined for sale in those areas. We have, of course, increased our multi-agency roadblocks, and then whenever we are able to identify suspects, we apprehend and arraign them in court. 32 cases of livestock theft reported from Kajiado East and Kajiado West sub-counties. 32. Uh, 12 are pending before court, while 13 cases are still pending investigations. Honorable Chair, honorable members, establish some of the suspects, either in custody or who are still at large, are either family members, employees, or herdsmen. Are related in one way or the other with the complainants and have a relationship with the complainants. And these are expect to have aided and abetted these criminals. And therefore, this matter, the solution from where we sit on this problem, role of the communities to support the security agencies, and therefore the public barazas, the weekly public barazas that we have instructed all the officers measures by ensuring that no one is allowed to hire herdspeople whose identity they don't know. Livestock is attended at night and during the day to make sure that they support the security agencies by not withdrawing complaints in the middle after they have perhaps cut movements of security agencies, I want to assure you we will prosecute and take other disciplinary action on all officers, and we've already sent a signal to all ranks that they we will even be more strict, especially with those in command positions, the officers commanding stations, the officers we have other arms of National Police Service, including SIPU, and I think it's the responsibility of every security official of whatever support this effort. My parting shot as I end this brief highlight of this statement, Honorable Chair, is that we need the support of the communities and the leadership, even as we take action against the suspects, the accused persons, and also collaborators, including those that may be embedded within the public agencies in the area. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Mr. CS.
And I've attached, Chair, I've attached the statistics.
Yeah, actually, that's what I wanted to say.
Yes, I've attached.
Just to inform members that if you look at the last page of that presentation, there is a schedule on matters reported in the last 7 months as per the polling stations in Isinya, Kitengela, and so on. So that as you ask your questions, then you can refer to that. Thank you, Wasiri. I think you've happily presented your answer based on the issues raised before you. So I want to give my colleagues maybe a moment to raise questions, concerns, clarifications which you might need to make. But let me start with your report. Page 2, that is measures, and you spoke about apprehension of suspects and also being taken to court. Did you, Wasiri, state to us the number of fellows who have been taken to court here? It's like you did not, in all these reported cases, maybe you can tell us how many people have been taken to court, because it's not there in your report.
The next sentence after that item you have read out, Chair, I have summarized. There are 32 cases which have been reported. The ones that have been finalized and taken to court are 7.
Okay.
Then 12 are pending. I've already, I think they have gone full trial, through trial, because the 12, the next one, 12, are the ones that are in court, going through trial, and that investigations still.
Can you tell us the outcome? Is it possible for you to tell us whether there were all acquittals or there was some sentencing? Or
some of them were finalized
because I think that is important for us.
We haven't had, you heard me spend a bit of time explaining, we haven't had much success because this finalization has been in almost, I think, all cases withdrawals either before the accused are put on their defense or just after taking plea, and then they are just withdrawn. So we haven't had a lot of success here. The communities can agree with us that once they report a matter and we take action, they leave it to
the conclusion.
I think we will be able to succeed a little more.
Okay.
Chair, I think just for information.
Let him finish, then
Chair.
I'll give the floor to...
Just information. There is a column on accused for the purpose of
Yeah.
presentation.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Chair, also, a few of them have been, for example, if you look at number 6, on page 6, serial number 6, the matter of 2 sheep stolen somewhere.
Yeah.
There is a fine of 30,000. I think.
Yeah, that one is okay.
Yeah, I think. No.
Yeah, I think
No.
this is able to summarize.
Yeah. Chair, what I was saying, look at number 5, for example, the last column. Sheep recovered, case withdrawn by the complainant.
Okay.
Yeah. So that has been, you know. Then number 2, is we've had some successes. Number 2 on the same page 6, 9 sheep recovered and all returned to the owner.
Okay.
So we've had some of the cases withdraw by complainant, other cases recovery and return.
Thank you. Now, can I allow members to... Chirargei, Senator Fonandi, can you be on record?
Chair, my name is Cherargei Kukuris. I was coming for another matter, but I'm told it's not part of it. Thank you. But I will sit in to follow on the proceedings. And it's good to see my former colleague and the CS.
You want to sit as a stranger or as a friend?
Chair, I can either sit as a...
For the opportunity to...
Maybe, Honorable... Senator for Kajiado. So let us have him take the first.
shot.
Yeah.
So,
Seki,
thank you, Chair. I really want
and you can now see again your people are...
Just one case anyway. But I want to thank the CS and the team for finding time to come here to respond to this issue that has been a big issue for Kajiado people. CS and Chair and members of this committee, it is true that this has been a big problem in Kajiado, particularly on the 2 sub-counties. In fact, there are more than 5,000. Because this is an issue that has been there since 2019. Have been going or had been coming, not really within Kajiado County, but they have been coming to Nairobi. And these animals, sheep, goat, pigs, and even cows, they've been ferried by lorries, probox, and it has been very difficult to follow. And CS, I know very well that you've given a very good report here and presentation, but it is true that 80% of these animals are being varied and going through our roads. And in Kajiado, if you very much conversant with the Kajiado roads, it is very difficult to get to Nairobi. You can only get to Nairobi through 2 or 3. There is a big, there is a railway line that this kind of so they cannot just cross because there is no road crossing ways. So I think it is good that we appreciate that, because in every exit 24-hour roadblock. So you cannot, the government should really take into consideration this, because out of 80% of saying that their locals are not there, because maybe there is that kind of conspiracy between the locals, those who are herdsmen and all that, and those people who are now ferrying these animals. But the big where is NSIS? Where is DCI? That we are not getting this. These are things that are coming for 5 years, 6 years, and there is no one that we are feeling like, yes, we have something. Kitengela, that is page 5. In Kitengela, there is somebody who lost 1.2 million. You know, 21 cows, and this probably. So I think these are kind of things that we need to come in as government, and that I really want to appreciate the committee together now with the petitioners to investigate this further. And I appreciate the presentation from the CS, and I really want to appreciate that for the last 2 weeks, this issue has gone down. So we don't have a problem now. At least now the government is now running up and down, but I think it is not enough. We need to go down there to the county and see as a committee what is happening. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Now, I will allow the CS just to comment on Seki's concerns. Then once we do that, then I will allow the other members. Then Wasiri, you will take comments from all the other members. But as you answer that issue by Seki, I listened to you, your view is different. That this livestock is not actually stolen using the lorries and so on. That is your position. And the position of the petitioner here is opposite, or is different from what you are saying. So maybe as you answer, I don't know how you'll balance that issue. Because he's saying these animals are buried in the night actually. So Wasiri, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable. Cases where livestock has been stolen and ferried in motor vehicles at night through. I cannot dispute. Remember, as I've said, many of these cases are still under investigations. And also in this space, we don't. And therefore, I have taken the comments by the Senator for Kajiado seriously, and perhaps going forward for the matters that are pending, we will again try and see whether we can zero in. What I have picked from the Senator for Kajiado in particular, which is of interest to me, is that perhaps the destination behavior is difficult because of so many routes. But I think for this one is straightforward. Honorable Chair, considering that many of these cases actually are pending investigations, the concluded ones, the committee chair may want to look at this matrix. That case serial number 3 on page 5. The rest down that page are pending investigations. Dulo, Chair Senator Dulo has been around. You go to number 8 on the next page. Case taken to court and withdrawn under section 204. The next one, serial number 9, 2 sheep recovered, case withdrawn by the complainant. The next one, serial number 10, 4 cows recovered. withdrawn by the complainant, and so forth and so forth. So I think that is an area we need to work on together with the communities to farm up. Number two, Chair, again, just to remaining outstanding issues successfully. Mr. Chair, I thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Yes, Honorable.
There is the thieves themselves do not see help Sabine to come and steal from Pokot neighbors. So they collude and lead a cattle cow of Mzee so-and-so, or 2 or 3, and then drive it. We no longer have the issue of lorries now, but they drive, they follow it all the way to the market.
Okay.
And then find out if there
you will follow it up. But members, we have a problem of time. We still have the other petition. So if we can be short so that Wasiri can quickly take notes, response to them, then we go.
Stated clearly that citizen participation is crucial and it is helping. What are we doing to the neighboring countries? Because you here again for another petition. Thank you.
Senior Dulo, Senator.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
And I think Chair, I think the government has put in place so many measures, and if I may actually enumerate a few, we have county security commission. We have registration of illegal firearms that are already done. We have security anti-stock theft. We've put actually now 7 months because Chairman, I remember one time when there was a lot of banditry in northern Kenya. This one of the officers from that region to go and actually man issues of banditry. Swale, if I may be correct. The issue of insecurity in that area. My question is, and I think a lot needs to be done because you are also drained. Now, if you look at the grassroots level, there is an assistant chief. There are village elders. Of course, village elders are not responsible to you. One of the things Wale did, he made sure that is happening or cattle rustling in your area, that chief must go home. Yeah? And I know very well, CS, wherever there is cattle rustling, wherever those cattle are being taken, it must be those who are in command, especially the police, the CID, and the rest. But for assistant chief who is under you, there should be a way. We have put a lot of measures in place. And solution is not, there is no solution up to now. For example, in Isiolo County, you've been there almost 5 times, but the issues are still the same. What do you think as a government that we need to put in place to make sure that these issues are resolved once and for all? And my proposal...
You are not asking a question?
I'll just say what then I can leave. I think...
You don't leave because we have another very important matter.
It is not in my DNA to comment about come from Baringo. That would help inter-county theft.
Yeah.
But intra-county theft would then go to the question of villages. That's a bit more complex.
Yes, a quick one. Wasiri, you'll summarize. I realize that we might need a whole day with you. Listening to these members, I will make another proposal later, not now. So
The police officers and some criminals. So my question is, meet with the petitioners, because they can be the petitioners can act as witnesses in the investigation to ascertain whether it
concern. Quickly, Chair, the guns in North Rift have slightly gone silent, with emphasis slightly. From hunting down those cattle rustlers and bandits and criminals in North Rift and other part areas which are cattle banditry, what have you done to ensure that you recoveries are high? But in North Rift, there are no recoveries, even the skins of those cows or animals that have been stolen. So what I would have expected that bill to come to this committee, but unfortunately did not come. There is a proposal of so many issues, including branding, that have drafted.
In the interest of time, I will request the CS just to summarize his answer, because the answers really are with us, but from the areas which are not.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think the advice from the Senator for West Pokot is depending on the success or lack thereof that we register in the current clampdown on that crime in Kajiado, we may be forced to take that advice from the Senator for West Pokot and prohibit transportation of livestock at night, and also undertake the verification of livestock transportation licenses, just to make sure that even those with those permits to transport livestock have genuine permits, and we will employ intelligence-led operations of a multi-agency nature in line with the recommendations of the Senator for West Pokot. That, of course, includes following, being able to follow through the supply chain of that criminal enterprise into the destination markets. And that ties in with the recommendation by Senator Mbugwa on neighboring counties. Actually, what we've done, we've put neighboring counties on alert. The agencies in the neighboring counties are on high alert to make sure that there is coordinated response to this problem. I am satisfied that we will get this sorted out. Then, Chair, we are doing this because we don't want to be caught by surprise. And so when an issue like this comes out, we start asking ourselves where next, and where could be the next trouble. That's why yesterday when we had there people, for example, harvesting data of Kenyans the last 2-3 days, we stopped that activity and all other similar activities so that you don't wait until there's a similar activity. So we are looking at this in terms of the current problem in Kajiado, but also the potential spiral counties. The other thing, Chair, is as pointed out by Senator for Isiolo, my former colleague, Senator Duro, but we are not out of the woods yet. There is a lot of work to be done, lots of it, and I agree with the recommendations. Part of that, and in this I'm answering most of the questions raised by the putting all officials of national administration and security agencies who are in command to put them under a result-based performance. Based on if it's a cattle rustling area where it's common, we intend to see recoveries or even reduction of cases and so forth. So we are working on a framework already, and we have put our officers on high alert. That is one of the long-term measures that we'll be taking, but there are others. I support the idea of tracking and branding of livestock. Again, we've made some proposals which are being processed to make sure that movement of livestock from one area to another becomes a bit difficult. We are also discouraging the commonly used excuse of herdsmen looking for pasture everywhere. And we are saying that the security committees of every county must always consider requests for livestock that is coming from elsewhere, and be sure that they supervise that, so that again you don't have hundreds of thousands of livestock moving without any accountability of who is moving this livestock, how many they are, and when do they go back to where they come from. And then, of course, very quickly, Chair, in the interest of time, just to report to this committee that in terms of the Northern Rift area, one of the areas which was perpetuating that problem is that those who were stealing hundreds and thousands of livestock were retreating to some areas which are remote, inaccessible, and therefore the security agencies could not. We have gazetted certain areas as disturbed and dangerous, and we expelled anybody who was hiding there, because in any case these are not places of habitual residence by any person, and we'll make sure they don't return there. And once that is achieved, it will be very easy to recover. You will note, Chair, that during the last 4 months, we have recovered 7,147 heads of cattle and assorted livestock, which is a record. You know, in the past, the rate of recovery was quite slow, and this represents around 65% of the livestock stolen. In the past, the recovery rate was in the range of 10% and so forth. So we have made some progress. The hideouts for bandits inaccessible. We will employ more specialized units because we have determined that banditry is organized, sophisticated crime. No amount of regular policing interventions will deal with it. So we have invested, both in terms of personnel and equipment, with very specialized and sophisticated elite agencies. The same way we have done with terrorism. Because expecting regular policing agencies to deal with this problem will not yield different results. So those are some of the measures we are taking. As I have assured this committee and I've been asked about beyond tackling bandits and making sure that we stamp out these criminals from our presence. Support to the criminals, and we will be taking action against all those who have support.
Or it is,
Chair Bansard, I saw Senator Dulo nodding.
Directly involving security with the civilians. How are you going to make a difference? Because you see, in some countries, municipality has issues to do with security, the world over.
and establishment of a village council. I think as per the County Government Act. Then finally is seeking that we have a comprehensive policy on recruitment and remuneration of these village elders, because there's no policy legal framework currently. So we wanted to pick your mind on this as the man in charge of security. We know the village elders are already in place in terms of supporting the assistant chiefs and the chiefs and so on. Then there is the controversial issue of Nyumba Kumi. Is the village elders the same as Nyumba Kumi? That is a debate that was here there in one of the meetings. We have been able to interact with the petitioner. We've also had a moment with the Council of Governors, and of the task force that I think we were discussing Nyumba Kumi. And this will not be complete until we hear from you what you think about this particular proposal to amend the I think in 10 minutes we can be able to conclude these members. So, Wasiri?
Thank you, Chair. Once more, I thank you, and I want to thank the petitioners for bringing the existing law, which is the National Government Coordination Act of 2013, recognizes the different structures and administration is the sub-location. There have been debates in this country for a long time on entrenching
the answer to that petition is on B, so that it makes it easier for us to follow. B. You are there? Okay, proceed, Wasiri.
Thank you, Chair. As I have said, the lowest unit of governance or administration, in accordance with the current law, which is the National Government Administration Act, National Government Coordination Act of 2013, is the sublocation. And for many years there has been that act so that to include the role of to create villages as organs or units for administration be under the jurisdiction of village elders. At the same time, you're aware we have some volunteers who have been supporting the assistant chiefs, who are the but there has been an arrangement where volunteers in form of area managers, village elders, Numbakumi, they are there, they support, but they have not been given any, first of all, they are not entrenched. Stability and security. Many instances where we have had successes in the security sector. And compensated cadre. At the moment, we do not have a policy on the matter. So to summarize my response, Chair, the structures or units below this sublocation, which can assist us in managing, lower cadre that we might establish. What will be the terms of engagement? Factors, community of interest, and all those factors will be considered in the creation of villages. But we will need a policy on this policy framework will enable the ministry to establish that we are able to accommodate how much we can give the village elders and what that means to the exchequer, so that we discuss with the National Treasury and those involved in national plan to a financial burden that it cannot undertake. However, Chair, having said so,